Let me tell you about a study that looked at what happened to a charity when their transformational CEO was replaced by a psychopathic CEO. There's a ton of research showing that what we perceive as a leader is not necessarily what makes a leader effective. But unfortunately, when people meet other people's perceptions of what a leader is, they often do not look at their skills, or they guss up their skills to say either they have the potential or they see them as more skilled than they are. And this is what happens when you focus more on unwritten rules than actual skill. So corporate psychopaths are highly manipulative leaders who charm their way into senior positions, even though in reality they are not skilled enough to do those jobs. In this particular case, a psychopath CEO replaced a transformational CEO. And they rated 10 out of 10 on the corporate psychopathy scale. The researchers followed the journey of the organization with this leader for 2 years. The findings showed that people perceived leaderlessness, as in even though they had someone sitting in that seat, they didn't have anyone actually leading them. And there was a lot of staff absenteeism and aimlessness that hadn't been there before. The psychopathic CEO did not earn the trust and commitment of the workers or the respect, and after he was appointed, within weeks, organizational performance went down. Under the previous CEO, who was perceived as authentic and a transformational leader, employees were in sync with their reports of organizational performance and actual results, the organizational level results. They thought they were doing well, and they were doing well. But after the psychopathic CEO was appointed, he told everybody at the board how great they were doing and put this great public image, but the organizational measures showed that they were actually not doing well. And the employees in the organization knew it. They had less fundraising success, less creativity and direction, and lower revenue. These 2 years showed a marked decline in organizational revenue and employee commitment, which was a stark contrast to how the same organization had been before under a different leader. But the board of directors was not aware until it was too late to have experienced some harm, because the CEO was telling them all, lying to them all, telling them how great everything was going. And that's interesting to me because one of the unwritten rules of work from my study is schmoozing and kissing ass. And this is really hard for people from working class backgrounds. And I think this is part of why of this. One, it's just culturally not acceptable, but then two, it feels dishonest. I think it is hard for people from lower class backgrounds to see what is the difference between schmoozing and then outright lying, because it's just a cultural blurred line. When you see examples like this, you're like, ah. I also wonder, because the article didn't detail why this former CEO was replaced, like if it was a retirement or what happened, and how involved the previous person was in the selection of the new CEO. Because usually they are involved unless they were kicked out by the board. And if that's the case, I think this shows a good example of even good people can make mistakes and be susceptible to social charm and unwritten rules of, yeah, I like this person. They seem similar to me. They're very charming, instead of looking at the hard skills and even the soft skills of social communication that is very important, but actually looking at how do they communicate with people who they're not trying to kiss their ass.